Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with a question that might hit home. Have you ever felt like you're digging with all your might, but the gold never shows up? You're sweating, you're grinding, you're putting in long hours. And yet, month after month, year after year, the bank account stays the same. Maybe a little more, maybe even less. So what's going on? Why is it that some people seem to leap ahead while others crawl? Why do some grow rich with fewer hours, and others stay stuck no matter how hard they work? Let me tell you what I discovered. It's not just about hard work. It's about working smart. It's about personal development. It's about doing the right thing at the right time, in the right way, with the right mindset. Many people believe that hard work is the ultimate path to wealth and success. From a young age, we're told to put in the hours, grind through the struggle, and eventually the reward will come. But here's the hard truth. Hard work alone doesn't guarantee financial success. There are countless individuals who wake up early, work late, and push themselves to the limit every single day, yet they still struggle to pay bills, save money, or experience financial freedom. The reason is simple: effort without strategy often leads to exhaustion, not elevation. Working hard in the wrong direction is like running on a treadmill expecting to arrive at a destination. You can sweat and strain all day long, but if you're not moving forward strategically, you'll stay stuck in place. The marketplace does not reward you simply because you're tired at the end of the day. It rewards you for results, for the value you deliver, and for the impact you make. If your effort is not aligned with effectiveness, you can spend years giving your best and still end up broke, frustrated, and confused. The truth is, success requires more than sweat. It requires smarts. It demands intention, vision, and the ability to assess whether your work is actually moving the needle. Many people mistake motion for progress, but they are not the same. If hard work was the only ingredient to success, every laborer would be a millionaire. But we know that's not the case. So it's time to wake up and realize that hard work, while important, must be combined with smart work, personal growth, and financial intelligence. Only then does your labor become leverage and your efforts start producing real results. The key isn't to work harder forever, but to work wiser starting now. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is that time equals money. They believe the longer they work, the more they should earn. But that belief traps people in a cycle where their income is limited by the hours they can physically put in. The truth is, it's not the number of hours that matter, it's the value you bring to each hour that counts. This is why two people can work the same number of hours, yet one struggles to get by while the other builds wealth and freedom. The difference lies in the level of value they provide. The marketplace is not emotional. It doesn't care how tired you are or how many tasks you checked off your list. It rewards you based on results, not effort. If you want to increase your income, you must increase your impact. That means learning how to solve bigger problems, improve systems, influence outcomes, and offer solutions that others can't or won't. The more valuable you become, the more the world will pay you for your time. This is why investing in your growth is so crucial. Every skill you master, every insight you gain, and every way you find to make a stronger contribution increases your worth. The question isn't how many hours did I work today? The question is, what did I bring to those hours that no one else could? That's how professionals rise while others remain stuck. That's how wealth is created, not by just staying busy, but by becoming irreplaceable in the value you deliver. When you understand that value is what drives compensation, you stop chasing more hours and start focusing on becoming more capable. That shift in thinking changes everything. It's not about clocking in. It's about showing up with excellence and making your hours count. The way you think determines the life you create. Many people remain stuck financially not because they lack ability, but because they never change the way they see themselves or the world. They stay locked in the mindset of an employee. believing their only option is to work for someone else, follow orders, and play it safe. But those who break free financially are the ones who shift their thinking. They begin to see themselves not just as workers, but as creators, leaders, and builders of value. The path to wealth begins in the mind before it ever shows up in the bank. If you see yourself only as someone who trades time for a paycheck, you'll limit your potential to that exchange. But when you start to think like an entrepreneur, even if you still have a job, you begin looking for ways to add more value, solve bigger problems, and take initiative. You stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. This mental shift opens doors that hard work alone never could. It's not about abandoning work ethic. It's about upgrading your identity to match the future you want. The people who rise to the top financially don't just work harder. They think differently. They ask different questions. They focus on growth, ownership, and contribution. They move from reacting to creating, from surviving to thriving. This transformation doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you intentionally feed your mind with better ideas, surround yourself with better influences, and commit to thinking like someone who is already successful. Your mindset sets your ceiling, and if you want to raise your income, you must first raise your thinking. Because when your mind expands, your options multiply. Wealth begins not in your hands, but in your head, and from there, it changes everything. Wealth doesn't begin in the wall. It begins in the mind. One of the most important truths about success is that it flows from who you become, not just what you do. That's why personal development is the real foundation of financial freedom. When you focus on becoming a better version of yourself, more disciplined, more skilled, more emotionally intelligent, you increase your capacity to create, contribute, and lead. And the marketplace pays for that. It always has, and it always will. People often chase shortcuts. They look for the perfect job, the ideal investment, or the next big thing. But the real secret is that you are the greatest asset you will ever have. If you grow, everything around you grows. If you become more capable, you can handle more responsibility. If you develop new skills, you open new doors. If you think better, you live better. It's that simple and that powerful. But personal growth doesn't happen by accident. It takes intention. It takes time. And most of all, it takes a deep belief that the real payoff is not just in the paycheck, but in the person you are becoming in the process. The more value you build inside yourself, the more value you can offer to others. Read the books, learn the skills, master your emotions, discipline your habits, expand your vision. When you do, the results will follow. You don't chase success, it starts chasing you. Jim Rohn often said, "Success is something you attract by the person you become." And he was right. Because when you become a person of uncommon value, the world will open doors you never knew existed. And the money, the respect, the freedom, that's just the reward for who you chose to become. In today's world, effort alone is no longer the golden ticket. Working longer hours, pushing yourself to exhaustion, or staying busy every moment of the day might feel productive, but it's not the formula for lasting success. The difference between those who get ahead and those who remain stuck is not always how hard they work, it's how wisely they work. Strategic thinking and intentional action create far greater impact than blind hustle. When you understand where to focus your energy, how to prioritize your time, and what opportunities carry the most leverage, your results begin to multiply. The truth is, not all work is created equal. Some tasks move you forward, while others just keep you spinning in place. The key is to identify which activities deliver the greatest return, not just financially, but in terms of personal growth and future potential. This is what high achievers do. They don't just ask what needs to be done. They ask what matters most. They understand that time is limited, and so they use it with precision. They delegate, automate, eliminate, and concentrate on what actually creates value. Learning to solve bigger problems, offer smarter solutions, and see around corners is what separates average from exceptional. It's not about adding more to your plate. It's about getting clear on what truly moves the needle. When you work smarter, you free up energy and time to innovate, to lead, to build something that lasts. Working hard keeps you in motion, but working smart creates momentum. And once momentum is on your side, success becomes less of a grind and more of a natural result. By choosing clarity over chaos and results over routine, you start building a life not just of busyness, but of breakthrough. Real change doesn't begin with the economy, the company you work for, or the circumstances you face. It begins with you. Transformation is always personal first, external second. If your financial situation isn't where you want it to be, the most powerful move you can make is to look inward and ask, what do I need to change about myself? That question alone can open a door most people never walk through. Because it takes courage to admit that if you want a new life, you must become a new version of yourself. The truth is, your results will always reflect who you are. If you grow in wisdom, discipline, and vision, your results grow with you. If you stay the same, so will your outcomes. Many people spend their lives blaming the outside world for their lack of progress. Bad luck, a bad boss, the system. But those who succeed take ownership. They understand that while they can't control everything, they can always control their choices, habits, mindset, and focus. That's where true power lies. Every day is an opportunity to step into a higher version of yourself. You don't have to wait for a new year, a new job, or a lucky break. You can begin the transformation now. By reading, by thinking deeply, by making better decisions, by surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, and by holding yourself to a higher standard. When you become someone who is constantly evolving, improving, and aiming higher, life responds. Doors open. New paths appear. Financial growth becomes a byproduct, not the primary goal. You don't get rich by chasing money. You get rich by becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts it. That kind of person doesn't wait for change. They become the change.